This is Stacy McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, senior leaders, and C-suite executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Stacy, first of all, thank you for having me here. So my name is Abhinandan Jain. People call me Abhi. I am the Senior Vice President, leading the digital and the strategic business for Servion Global Solutions, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Been here for a lot of years now. But so I basically help companies, deliver exceptional customer experiences. By use of the modern technology, processes, which is there, and then which is much more relevant in today's time is, how do you connect with your customers, who now are buying differently. So that's what I help companies with.
That's amazing. Well, then I'll especially appreciate hearing kind of your philosophy on communication and leadership through the lens of kind of the experience, right?
Right.
So I'm curious, from your perspective, what's the best thing about leading people?
So I would say, personally, the best thing about leading people is, if you can make a difference in what they can personally achieve. Okay, it's just, to push them step by step, towards their potential, the potential which they never realized they have. And when you see them realizing that is when you get the most satisfaction. Okay. To me personally, I feel thrilled, when I say, okay, how many people reach out back to you and say, okay, I want to work for you again. Okay, that means, you have made a difference, in their lives, and help them, do something, which they never thought, was possible. And that's why, they want to work with you again. I think that's the most gratifying part of leadership, if people come back.
I've never heard that answer before, Abhi. Over 100 interviews, and see, here we go. I love this. This is what's amazing. That's such an insightful answer. I'm curious, and it leads me to my third question, which sometimes folks get a kick out of, which is, I will often hear from other leaders, business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, what are your thoughts about that?
No, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I would say, see, it's like your kids, right? So sometimes you get frustrated with the kids and you're like, I wish I never had kids, but they're still important. I would say, see, we are all in the people business. Okay, every business is a people business. So yes, you can't run a business without people. I think what matters is, why do you think people become pesky? Because I think because of 2 or 3 things. One, you have not been able to understand, what they want or relate to it. Okay. Your organizational culture is not aligned to it. Okay. Or they are in the wrong role. And as a leader, you have failed to put them in the right role where they can find something meaningful to do. And these are the 2 or 3 things, which actually create, that peskiness in a relationship. And you just find the right balance. So no, it is a people's business. So, we have to, so people comes first. It is about, how do you address it? I think that's most important.
Well, I like the way you look at it there to kind of, diagnose it first so that you can apply the appropriate prescription, if you will, right? So that you're actually, looking at it through the right lens of where is the rub coming from? Is it actually from me, the relationship, or, the environment?
Yeah. Correct. And of course, there'll be times when you want your me time.
We won't let that go. Exactly.
So, but yes, I think it's, no, I think people are the first thing.
So I'm curious, if I had a group of leaders sitting in front of you right now, what piece of advice about communication would you give to them?
So it's communication to the leaders, right? So see, here's the thing. I would say, especially, let me put it in context of what the world is going through today, right now, with the entire, COVID pandemic, economic instability in a lot of places. I think the biggest thing is empathy. Okay, is your communication empathetic to the people? Can people relate to it? And people can only relate to something which is very clear, concise, and direct. Employees, customers, everyone is, they're tired of listening to stories or dancing on the bush. Okay, but at the same time, you have to be empathetic on, how you deliver the message. but let's be direct. Let's share what's going on. And more often than not, you would find others rally around. When they hear the truth, rather than you know something which they think is happening but not being communicated. So communicate often, but clear and direct. So
It's almost like that's the point of the show. Clear
yeah,
concise
exactly.
communication.
I was thinking about that, when I was answering. I'm like, yes, exactly. Just like the show. 7 minutes. What's the message out?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah. So because bad news or good news, people want to hear the bad news immediately. They don't want you all the smokes and the mirrors around it. If you just give it to them, and you would see them partnering with you to address that bad news, or celebrate that good news. So
Mm-hmm. And helping you to solve problems probably more aggressively.
exactly. And then if you also see the millennials, right? The millennials don't like they like very direct feedback, and they like constant feedback. Okay. They don't want to be treated like a child. And all these becomes very important factors, in your communication style, uh, as you move forward. Yeah.
That's great. Who else like yourself, Abhi, should be on the show, right? Like, what other successful business leaders like you should we have on the show that's out there making it happen every day?
So, I can think of a lot of names, a lot of people, I've worked with, but one person I would recommend you to talk to would be, actually, he's my brother, Nitin Jain. He's based in India, and I reach out to him often because he has worked in various geographies around the world. And, when I have an issue, or, if I want to bounce up ideas in terms of, hey, in this country, how do you do business, or in Southeast Asia, what do you need to do? Nuances of communicating with people, what do people like? So I have bounced it off of him. So of course, so that would be someone, I would recommend you to talk to. Just get a different global perspective.
I love that, from even within the family to have a business conversation, and then globally to kind of look at it through another lens. There's a couple of layers there that you're
exactly
exploring.
Exactly, because to your earliest on leadership, communication, see, that all has to change as per the local specific culture. And and the other preferences which people have, right? So
all right, 1 minute, bring us home, right? Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who's really influenced you?
So I would say a lot of people along the way, right from the first boss, when I started, back in India, and then three. See, I've had bosses, which which are favorite, which are less favorite. Okay, but the overall thing is, any boss, which has been able to challenge me, okay, to do the next thing, has always been a favorite boss. Okay, that's been their characteristics. Okay, I worked with Linda Gorgon, over at Siemens. I worked with my ex-boss at Microsoft, Preeti Das. All strong people, throughout my career. And what I liked is, they would just push me, to do my best, and then that's what was always very, very helpful. So yeah, so all bosses, have been great. I've learned something from every one of them. So
that's awesome. We're very blessed to have that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why, I have that.
Right, that's funny. I didn't even see that. That's great. That's great. Well, it's been such a delight to have you on the show. I'm curious, if somebody wanted to reach out and introduce themselves or learn more, how might they get in touch with you?
Oh, they can reach me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn also has a connection to my Twitter account, Abhinandan Jain. So yeah, LinkedIn is the best way.
That's awesome. Well, I'll be sure to put that up in the description for anybody that wants to reach out. And this is, thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. And this is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator Podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.